I guess this will be part one of a few parts. Wow, this is like, it's way, I know like people say this all the time, but it's way harder to actually talk about something that you're struggling with or that you have struggled with. It's harder to talk about it out loud, I feel like, knowing that it has the potential to be heard. If you know me in real life, you probably know that I have struggled with eczema and probably a little bit of rosacea too on my face. And over the past year, I have literally healed myself, not completely, but to the point where it's very much more manageable, completely by diet and keeping my skin moisturized with pretty natural stuff. No steroid creams, because I've heard of all the awful things that steroid creams do to your body, and like getting off of them is horrible. So I just basically want to talk about like what I did. And I know there's just like so much to it. And I guess the reason why I haven't made this sooner is because I have always been afraid that I'm going to leave something out. Yeah, but I guess I just want to start off with the basics of like what I've done to heal it. It's December 2018 now. I had a really bad flare-up in October of 2017, so a little over a year ago. And I have been struggling with eczema on my arms and on my hands for most of my teenage years. I'm 24 now, but I'd struggled with it on and off like in my teen years, and then just over the past few years it's gotten worse, I guess. But last October was when it got really, really bad. Like, it was on my hand. I can, oh my gosh, I say I can insert pictures, but it's really gross, and I'd probably have to do a disclaimer at the beginning of this video. Maybe I'll save that for another video, but yeah, so last October I started doing more research on like natural remedies and what I could do. And essentially I was like, okay, I'm gonna go gluten-free and I'm gonna go vegan, because people say vegan is just like the healer for all things. Like, okay, what's the harm? And then gluten, I'd heard, had been a really, can be sensitive for people with skin problems or eczema. So I went gluten-free and vegan. I was gluten-free and vegan, I think, for like 4 or 5 months. And it helped a little bit initially, but it didn't really heal my skin. And I don't know why, because I had seen so many people on YouTube that were saying, you know, going vegan. I'd read blogs about it, like going vegan really helped my eczema. Within like a month, I was clear, and, you know, it was just only positive feedback. But of course, I was the one where it didn't work. And that was like that for months. I was trying everything, and I can go into detail in a separate video about all of the treatments and things that I did to try to help my eczema. I did cold showers, did beamer therapy, tanning booth. Because another thing too is I went to Florida in February and it went away. All of it went away in Florida. And as soon as I came back, it came back with even worse symptoms. Like, it would not stop spreading all over my arms, and I have pictures to prove it, ugly pictures to prove it. It wasn't until I think I started reading the food book by Dr. Hyman, where I really started to get a grasp on like what foods could be triggering. And even though I was eating vegan, there could be other plant-based foods that were not helping me, because I have no idea why. They just like weren't agreeing with my body. So I started noticing things after I read that book, and I think that was in maybe April. And then in June, I discovered the autoimmune paleo diet, or autoimmune protocol. Some people call it protocol, some people call it paleo. But basically, it's a extremely restrictive diet. Eliminates dairy, soy, wheat, alcohol, coffee, nuts, seeds, nightshades. Basically, I just would tell people, like, if I was to go over to someone's house and they would ask, like, what I could eat, I would basically just say fruits, vegetables, and meat. So just because I was so cautious about what I was putting in my body, because with the nightshades, that means that you can't have a lot of spices. So like I couldn't have chili pepper, curry, I couldn't have, yeah, so it definitely made it hard to eat out and to eat at friends' houses, but I made it work, and I was extremely strict. From June to September, I did not have any alcohol. I called it my summer of sober. So it was hard, especially since summer is like the time when you want to be, you know, going to concerts and, you know, having the casual cocktail with your friend downtown. After I eliminated all of those things, it was crazy how I saw my skin healing. And for me, I would rather eat a restrictive diet and see the amazing healing in my skin than the simple pleasure of a muffin or something that wasn't necessarily going to help my body. I also incorporated a lot of sauerkraut, and I would drink lemon water with apple cider vinegar in the morning, help my gut, because I do believe I had like what you would call a leaky gut, and maybe I had it for a really long time, and it just started manifesting and continuing to get worse, and that's why it's taken me so long to heal. But I will say I think I'm starting to find my triggers. Like, I definitely feel like I can't do gluten. Last week I came in contact with gluten on sweet potato fries at my friend's house. I didn't realize had wheat on them. And I don't know if you could see this, but I kind of have a little bit right here on my hand. Just like, it looked a lot worse, but don't love showing that to people, but you know, if it can help somebody else, then you know, so be it. I don't mind. Yeah, so I guess I just want to make this video because I felt very defeated. Like, I was eating all the right foods and doing all the right things, and I still wasn't healing. I still wasn't getting better. It was just getting worse, and it really affected my mental state. And that's one thing that I did learn is I would, if I ate something that I wasn't necessarily supposed to eat, I would feel it mentally, internally first before it came up on my skin. Anything that I eat that I have a reaction to, I don't see it on my skin for at least 3 days. But I feel it first. I get anxious, or sometimes I get depressed for no reason, or I get short with people that I love, like my sister, who's also my roommate. I get really short with her. And I see it all internally and mentally first before it shows up on my skin. So that's just like a brief overview of my story, and you know, I've healed my skin. It really puts it into perspective, health and wellness, and the small gifts that you have that you may take for granted and you don't even know. Like, I never even thought that this would be an issue in my life. But yeah, it's definitely humbling, and I'm extremely grateful right now to have skin that isn't uncomfortable to wear a long sleeve shirt. It isn't uncomfortable to go to work, because I would go into work and be there for maybe 20 minutes and start having an emotional breakdown because, and this is during the winter where I had no choice but to wear long sleeves, and also my arms were disgusting. But yeah, I'd be there for 20 minutes and just be so emotional because it was uncomfortable to have a long sleeve shirt on my arms. It made me feel defeated because I couldn't work and I couldn't do normal things that I'm supposed to be doing. I should be able to wear a long sleeve shirt. I mean, I am now, but I couldn't wear a long sleeve shirt, and I walked around my apartment in a sleeveless, almost like a bathrobe type dress. It like cut off right here, so you didn't have to actually put any sleeves on. So it just like, yeah, that was like my ritual. Every day I would take a cold shower in the morning. I wouldn't dry myself off. I would just put on this lotion that was a lifesaver with my skin still being wet, and I would just sit for an hour and watch Emma Chamberlain's YouTube videos to try to get me to forget about the state that I was in and to make me laugh, because that's another thing is eczema can be triggered by stress. So I was doing everything I could just to be as happy as I could. So, you know, watching funny YouTubers or things that distracted me from the discomfort on my skin, I would do that a lot too. So yeah, that it just like puts it into perspective what you take for granted. Like I couldn't even wear a long sleeve shirt and go to work and provide for myself because I was in so much pain and doctors weren't helping me. So I had to I was forced to try to figure it out by myself, and I'm glad that I did, and I hope that this can help someone. And you know, if you have any questions on the autoimmune protocol diet, the Paleo Mom has a ton of resources. I can link that below as well if I can remember, but you can do a quick Google search of her too. But yeah, that was the one thing that really helped me to heal my eczema. And now I'm able to incorporate things back into my diet. Like I can do nuts without having a huge flare up and without my eczema getting worse. And you know, I can do a little bit of sugar here and there without it affecting my skin. It's crazy. There's other things that did affect me as well, as far as like hormonally, but I won't get into that today. This is already like over 15 minutes. Not sure if I can cut it down. But yeah, I just wanted to share just like a quick glimpse into my story, and yeah, hopefully help somebody out there who may be struggling with the same things, because it is winter time and that's when eczema can get really bad. So hopefully I can dive more into this and that this helps somebody. Have a great night and a Merry Christmas. So this is just a picture of my hand before. It definitely wasn't at its worst. And then this is during the healing. And then this last one is the one of my hand today.